The California
So I was
afternoon
thinking
sunlight sparkled
about
as it reflected off the
our
chandeliers
trip
in the Grand
next
Pacific
month,
Hotel,
and
standing in
I
front
have
of
a
the
few
dressing room
ideas I
mirror.
wanted to share.
I felt a flutter
So
of
I was
excitement in my
thinking
heart as I
about
applied my lipstick.
our trip
One final
next
time
month,
today was my sister
and I
Jessica's
have a
wedding
few
day.
ideas I wanted
Jessica
to
had
share.
finally found her soulmate,
So
and I was filled with
thinking
joy,
about
wanting to celebrate her from
our
the bottom of my
trip
heart, Maggie.
next month,
Are you ready?
and
My
I
husband
have a
Robert
few
called
ideas
out
I
as he
wanted
knocked
to
on the
share.
door.
So
His
I
voice
was
carried its
thinking
usual
about
gentleness, mixed with
our
the nervous
trip
tension that comes
next
with
month,
important occasions.
and I have a few ideas I
2 more
wanted
minutes,
to share.
I replied, giving
So
myself
I
a
was
final
thinking
check in the
about
mirror. The navy blue
our
dress Jessica had
trip
chosen for me,
next
saying,
month,
"This color
and
suits
I
you
have a
best."
few
It
ideas
was
I
simple
wanted to
yet
share.
elegant.
So I
Robert
was
entered the
thinking
room,
about
his physique honed from
our
years as a
trip
firefighter,
next
looked
month,
even more striking in
and
his
I have a
well-tailored
few
suit.
ideas I wanted to share.
We'd been married for 12
So I was
years, but my
thinking
heart still
about
skipped a beat whenever I saw
our
him.
trip
"You look
next month,
absolutely beautiful,"
and
he
I
said,
have a
placing
few
his hands on
ideas
my
I wanted to
shoulders.
share.
"Jessica must look stunning
So
today,
I was
too.
thinking
I'm sure she does
about
yesterday at the rehearsal.
our
She gave me
trip
just a
next
glimpse of her
month,
wedding dress,
and I have a few
and it was
ideas I wanted
truly
to share.
breathtaking." I turned to
So
look
I
into
was
his
thinking
eyes.
about
Robert's gentle brown
our
eyes always
trip
held that
next
unchanging
month,
love. We
and
didn't
I have
have
a few
children,
ideas I
but our
wanted to
days together
share.
were completely fulfilling.
So I
"Do you
was
think David
thinking
is a good
about
man?" I asked with a
our
hint of concern.
trip next month,
"Yes, I
and
spoke
I
with
have
him
a
at dinner
few
last
ideas
night.
I wanted
He's
to
honest
share.
and intelligent. He
So
talked
I was
passionately
thinking
about running his
about
restaurant.
our
And most
trip
importantly,
next
his
month,
eyes were gentle when
and
he
I
looked
have
at
a few
Jessica,
ideas
Robert's
I wanted
words.
to share.
Reassured
So
me
I
Jessica
was
had
thinking
struggled with
about
relationships in her younger
our
years, and I'd
trip
always worried about
next
her.
month,
But this time was
and I
different
have a
since
few
meeting
ideas
David.
I
Jessica
wanted
seemed
to
much more
share.
settled and happy than
So
before.
I
When you're
was
ready,
thinking about
could you head to the chapel
our
first?
trip
I want
next
to check on
month,
Jessica one last
and
time
I have
before
a
I
few
join you.
ideas I
Sure,
wanted
but
to
don't
share.
get too emotional
So
and
I
cry.
was
You'll ruin
thinking
your beautiful
about
makeup. Robert
our
said this with
trip
playful laughter.
next month,
It was
and
true I
I
was
have a
prone
few
to tears
ideas I
whether
wanted
watching
to share.
movies or reading books. I'd
So
tear up at
I
any
was
touching
thinking
scene today.
about
I
our
was certain I'd
trip
cry during the
next
vows,
month,
walking down the
and
hallway
I
to
have
the
a
bridal
few
suite.
ideas I wanted to share.
I traced through
So
childhood
I was
memories. I
thinking
had been an
about
introverted child who
our
loved reading,
trip
while Jessica was
next
lively
month,
and sociable,
and I have
always
a few
surrounded by
ideas
friends
I
at
wanted
school
to
at
share.
community events.
So I was
She was
thinking
always the
about
center of attention.
our
Dad always
trip
praised
next
Jessica's
month,
social skills.
and I have a few
Jessie
ideas
has
I
a
wanted
special
to share.
charm that draws people to her.
So
He'd
I was
often tell
thinking
Mom.
about
Meanwhile,
our
I was usually
trip
described
next
as,
month,
"Maggie
and
is
I
serious
have
and
a few
hardworking,"
ideas I
but
wanted
she
to
could
share.
use more initiative after Dad
So
passed
I
away
was
5 years
thinking
ago. Jessica and I grew
about
closer than we'd
our
ever been as
trip
adults.
next month,
Walking our
and
own
I have a
paths,
few
the
ideas I
childhood
wanted to share.
competitiveness had naturally faded,
So I was
especially
thinking
after spending
about
Dad's final days together.
our
We'd come to
trip
appreciate the
next
importance
month,
of family
and
bonds.
I have a few ideas
When
I
I
wanted
knocked
to
on the
share.
bridal suite door,
So I was thinking
I heard
about
Mom's voice from inside.
our
"Margaret, come
trip
in."
next month,
"Dear?"
and I
Entering
have
the
a few
room,
ideas
I
I
saw a
wanted to
bride
share.
more beautiful than I could have
So I
imagined.
was thinking about
Jessica's wedding dress was a
our
classic design
trip
with
next
delicate lace
month,
accents on
and
silk
I have a
satin,
few ideas I
perfectly
wanted to share.
highlighting her natural beauty.
So I was thinking
"Jessie,
about
you look absolutely
our
gorgeous."
trip
My voice
next
trembled
month,
slightly with emotion.
and I have a few ideas I
Jessica
wanted
turned
to
and
share.
smiled. Her smile
So
held
I was
that special
thinking
radiance
about
that only truly happy
our
women possess.
trip next month,
"Thank you, Maggie.
and
You
I
look
have a
wonderful
few
too."
ideas I
Mom,
wanted to
making
share.
final adjustments, said,
So I
"You
was
both look
thinking
so
about
beautiful. Your father
our
must be watching over
trip
this day from
next
heaven."
month,
The three of
and
us
I
held
have a
hands
few
and shared a
ideas I
quiet
wanted to
moment
share.
together.
So
The
I
chapel
was
at the Grand
thinking
Pacific
about
Hotel was decorated
our
like a scene
trip
from a movie.
next month,
White roses and
and
calla
I have a
lily
few
bouquets
ideas I wanted
adorned
to
the
share.
altar, and crystal
So
chandeliers
I was
hanging from the
thinking
ceiling
about
sparkled in rainbow
trip
colors
next
under the
month,
afternoon
and
sunlight.
I have a
Over
few
100
ideas I wanted
guests
to
sat
share.
quietly waiting for the
So
ceremony
I
to
was
begin.
thinking
In the
about
solemn atmosphere, I sat next to Robert,
trip
looking
next
around while
month,
holding the program.
and I have a few ideas I
Relatives
wanted
from
to
both
share.
Dad's and Mom's sides,
So I
along
was
with friends of
thinking
the bride and
about
groom, had gathered to
our
celebrate this special
trip
day.
next month,
Mom sat in
and
the
I have
front
a few
row,
ideas I
occasionally
wanted to
dabbing her
share.
eyes with a handkerchief.
So I was
She
thinking
must have been
about
feeling lonely that Dad
our
wasn't there. "Those
trip
are Jessica's
next
college
month,
friends over there," Robert
and
whispered to
I have a
me.
few ideas I wanted
They were
to share.
dressed in beautiful gowns,
So I
chatting
was
with
thinking
affection for the
about
bride. Jessica had been
our
popular since her
trip
student days
next
and had
month,
maintained close
and I
relationships
have a
with many
few
friends
ideas
after
I wanted to
graduation. I
share.
truly admired
So
that
I
about
was
her
thinking
when the organ
about
began to play.
our
The
trip
entire
next
venue
month,
fell silent.
and I have a
David
few
took his
ideas
place at
I
the
wanted to
altar with the
share.
minister.
So I
He
was
looked a bit
thinking
nervous,
about,
but his expression was
our
filled with deep
trip
love and
next
determination.
month,
He was a man
and
with
I have
quiet
a few
charm
ideas
who had
I
also
wanted to
achieved
share.
success as a restaurant owner.
So I was thinking
I could understand
about,
why Jessica had chosen
our
him. The
trip
music
next
announcing the
month,
bride's entrance
and I
began
have a
as
few
everyone in the
ideas I
venue
wanted to
turned
share.
around first.
So
The
I was
bridesmaids
thinking
walked down the aisle
about,
beautifully.
our
Then finally,
trip
Jessica
next
appeared,
month,
supported by Mom's
and
arm.
I have a few ideas
I
I wanted to
gasped,
share.
though I thought she
So
looked
I was
beautiful in the
thinking
dressing room.
about,
Seeing my
our
sister in the sacred
trip
atmosphere of the
next month,
chapel,
and I have
surpassed
a few
even
ideas
that
I wanted
beauty.
to share.
The train of her dress spread
So I
gracefully
was
across the
thinking
floor,
about
and her veil
our
fluttered gently with each
trip
step.
next month.
Mom walked
and
with
I have
pride
few
and perhaps
ideas
a
I
touch
wanted
of
to share.
melancholy as she held
So
Jessica's
I was
arm.
thinking about
As Jessica
our
walked down the aisle, she
trip
smiled at
next
each
month,
guest.
and
When our
I have a
eyes
few
met, she
ideas
gave me
I
an
wanted to
especially
share.
warm
So
smile
I
in
was
that moment.
thinking
Tears
about
nearly spilled from my
our
eyes.
trip
My sister
next
looked
month,
so truly
and
happy,
I have
and I
a
was
few
overjoyed
ideas I
when she
wanted to
reached
share.
David.
So I
Mom
was
placed
thinking
Jessica's hand in
about
his. The moment
our
they gazed at each
trip
other
next
touched
month,
everyone in the venue.
and I have a
There was
few
that
ideas I
special
wanted to
glow that
share.
only two people in love
So I was
possess.
thinking about
The minister solemnly
our
began the
trip
ceremony.
next
Dearly
month,
beloved,
and
we are
I have a
gathered
few
here today
ideas
to
I wanted
celebrate the
share.
marriage of David Harrison
So
and
I was
Jessica Winston.
thinking about
As the minister's
our
words
trip
echoed through the
next
venue,
month,
I remembered
and
Jessica
I
as
have
a
a few
child.
ideas I
I
wanted
could
to
see her
share.
playing dress-up in a toy
So
wedding
I
dress,
was
holding
thinking
wedding
about
ceremonies with her dolls.
our trip
Even then,
next
she'd
month,
harbored dreams of
and
marriage.
I have a few ideas
And
I
now,
wanted
finally,
to share.
that dream was becoming
So
reality.
I
David
was
Harrison,
thinking about
do you take
our
Jessica Winston
trip
to be your
next
wife?
month,
To love,
and I
honor,
have a
comfort,
few
and keep
ideas
her
I
in
wanted to
sickness and
share.
in health, in prosperity
So
and
I was
adversity,
thinking
and forsaking
about
all others?
our
Be faithful
trip
to her.
next
As long
month,
as you both shall
and
live,
I
I
have a
do.
few ideas I wanted to
David's
share.
voice was strong and full.
So I
Of
was
conviction,
thinking
tears
about
glistened in his eyes.
our trip
2.
next
Jessica
month,
Winston,
and
do you
I
take
have a
David
few
Harrison to
ideas
be
I
your
wanted to
husband?
share.
To love, honor,
So
comfort,
I
and
was
keep him in
thinking
sickness and in
about
health, in
our
prosperity and
trip
adversity, and
next
forsaking
month,
all others? Be
and
faithful
I
to
have a
him.
few ideas I wanted to share.
As long as you both shall
So
live.
I was thinking about
I do. Jessica's
our
voice was clear
trip
and rang
next
beautifully.
month,
Her expression
and
held
I
deep
have a
love,
few ideas I
along with
wanted to
hope for
share.
her new life. The ring exchange
So I
began.
was thinking about
Placed the ring
our
on Jessica's
trip
finger with
next
trembling
month,
hands.
and
Jessica
I have a few
received this
ideas
ring
I wanted
as a
to
sign of my
share.
love and commitment,
So I
and
was
as a
thinking
symbol that I have
about
chosen you above
our
all others. I will
trip
love you
next
until God
month,
parts us.
and I have a few
Jessica
ideas
did the
I
same,
wanted to
placing
share.
the ring on David's finger.
So I was thinking
David
about
received this ring as a
our
sign of my love
trip
and commitment,
next month,
and as a symbol that I have
and I
chosen
a
you
few
above all
ideas I
others.
wanted
I
to
will
share.
love you until God parts us.
So I was thinking
I squeezed
about
Robert's hand beside
our
me. He was
trip
moved to and
next
gently
month,
squeezed back.
and I have a few
He
ideas
might
I
have been
wanted to
remembering
share.
our own wedding 12
So
years
I
ago in
was
spring.
thinking
Our
about
ceremony in a small church
our
had been filled with
trip
love, just
next
like today.
month, and
When
I
the
have a
minister
few
spoke his
ideas I
final
wanted
words,
to share.
the venue was enveloped in
So I was
silence.
thinking about
Then, with the words,
our
"You may kiss the
trip
bride,"
next month,
they shared their
and
first
I have
kiss.
a few ideas I wanted to
As
share.
husband and wife, the
So
venue
I was
erupted in
thinking
applause and
about
cheers,
our
clapped with all my
trip
might while
next
tears
month,
streamed down my
and
face.
I have a
I
few
was
ideas I
genuinely
wanted to
happy
share.
that Jessica had found
So
true
I
happiness
was
in
thinking
marriage.
about
As the newlyweds made their
our
exit, the guests
trip
stood
next
and gave them
month,
congratulatory
and
applause.
I have a few ideas
When
I
Jessica
wanted
passed
to
by
share.
me, she gave me a special
So
wave.
I was thinking
Her smile was
about
that of a woman
our
experiencing the
trip
happiest moment of
next
her life.
month, and
After
I
the
have a few
ceremony,
ideas
guests
I
moved
wanted
to the
to
hotel
share.
lobby for cocktail hour.
So I
The
was
venue was
thinking
decorated with
about
beautiful flower
our
arrangements and
trip
champagne,
next month,
and hors d'oeuvres
and
were
I have
served.
a few ideas I wanted
It
to
really
share.
was a beautiful ceremony,
So I was
Robert
thinking
said.
about
Champagne in
our
hand?
trip next
Yes,
month,
it was perfect.
and I
Jessie
have a
looked
few
so
ideas I
truly
wanted to
happy.
share.
It made me happy.
So I was thinking
Just watching her
about
through the window,
our
we watched the newlyweds
trip
photo
next
session taking
month,
place in the garden.
and I have a few ideas
Jessica's
I wanted
dress,
to
illuminated
share.
by the sunset,
So
made her look
I
as
was
beautiful
thinking
as an angel.
about our
Did you speak
trip
with David's
next
mother?
month,
I asked.
and I have
Yes,
a
she's
few
a
ideas
very,
I wanted to
she's
share.
a refined
So
woman.
I was thinking about
She was so pleased about her
our
son's marriage.
trip
She said she
next
already
month,
thinks of Jessica as a
and I
daughter.
have a few ideas I
Hearing
wanted to
this
share.
gave me even more peace of
So
mind.
I was thinking
Marriage isn't just
about
between two people.
our
It's a joining of
trip
families.
next month,
When both families can
and I
accept
have a
each
few
other and
ideas I
interact
wanted
with
to
love,
share.
the couple's married
So
life
I
will
was
surely be
thinking
richer.
about our
Mom came over to
trip
us.
next
Her eyes were
month,
still moist with
and
tears,
I have
Margaret
a few
Robert.
ideas I wanted to share.
Thank you so much for today.
So I
Your
was
father must be
thinking
pleased
about
too.
our
It really
trip
was a
next
beautiful
month,
ceremony, I
and
said,
I have a
taking
few
Mom's
ideas
hand.
I wanted to share.
Jessica looked so
So I was
happy,
thinking
and that's what matters
about
most.
our
David
trip
is a
next
wonderful
month,
man too. I'm
and
sure
I
they'll
have a
build a
few
good home
ideas I
together,
wanted to
Robert
share.
added kindly.
So I was
As
thinking
cocktail hour
about
drew to a close,
our
guests began
trip
being directed
next
to the
month,
reception venue.
and I have
The
a few
grand
ideas
ballroom
I
was
wanted to
decorated even
share.
more lavishly than the
So
chapel.
I was thinking
Each
about
round table was adorned
our
with roses of
trip
different
next
colors,
month,
and the gentle glow of
and I
candles
have a few
warmly
ideas I
illuminated
wanted
the
to
entire
share.
venue.
So I
We
was
were seated
thinking
at the family
about
table. Mom,
our trip
Robert and I,
next
along
month,
with David's
and
parents
I
and
have a
siblings,
few
sat at
ideas
the
I
same
wanted to
table.
share.
Soon the newlyweds would
So
make their
I was
entrance and
thinking
the reception
about
would begin.
our
I'm so excited.
trip
I
next
smiled
month,
at Robert.
and I
Yes,
have a
it's
few
going to be a
ideas I
wonderful
wanted to
evening.
share.
He replied,
So I
holding
was
my hand
thinking
as elegant
about
music filled the grand
our
ballroom.
trip next
The
month,
newlyweds entered,
and
hand in
I have a
hand.
few
The
ideas I
guests gave
wanted
them
to
a
share.
standing ovation, and the
So
venue was
I was
filled with
thinking
a warm
about
atmosphere of
our
celebration.
trip next
Jessica had
month,
changed into a different
and I have
reception
a few
dress,
ideas I wanted
more
to
comfortable
share.
for movement, yet still
So
elegant.
I was thinking about
David was beaming
our
tenderly,
trip
holding his
next
new wife's
month,
hand. Dees and
and I have a
gentlemen,
few
we
ideas I wanted to
sincerely thank
share.
you for gathering here today
So
to
I was
celebrate our
thinking
marriage.
about
David's
our
speech began.
trip
His
next
voice
month,
reached every corner
and
of the
I have a
venue,
few
and his
ideas I
sincere
wanted to
character
share.
could be felt in every
So
word.
I was thinking about
Meeting Jessica
our
has been the greatest
trip
fortune of
next
my
month,
life. I was
and I have a
captivated
few
by her
ideas I wanted
kindness,
to share.
intelligence, and beauty,
So
and
I was
every day
thinking
brought new
about
discoveries.
our
Starting
trip
today,
next
we
month,
begin our new life
and
as
I have a
husband and
few
wife
ideas
with
I
your
wanted to
warm
share.
support. We promise to
So
build a
I was
home
thinking
filled with love,
about
as applause filled
our
the venue.
trip
Jessica
next
also took
month,
the microphone.
and I have a few
Everyone,
ideas I wanted to
thank
share.
you so much for celebrating this
So
special
I
day
was
with us.
thinking about
Especially want to thank my
our
mother and my
trip
sister Margaret
next month,
for all their help with
and
today's
I have a
preparations.
few ideas I wanted to share.
It's sad that my father isn't
So
here,
I
but
was
I believe he's
thinking
watching over
about
us from heaven.
our trip
I felt tears
next
welling
month,
up whenever Dad was
and I
mentioned.
have a few
Emotions
ideas I
always
wanted to share.
overflowed like this.
So I was
Robert
thinking
placed his hand on my
about
shoulder gently,
our
comforting
trip
me and David.
next month, and
Jessica
I have a
continued
few
gazing at
ideas
her
I
new
wanted
husband.
to share.
Meeting,
So
you
I was
completely
thinking
changed my life
about
with your love supporting
our
me.
trip
I was able to
next
become my
month,
true self.
and
I
I
am
have a
truly
few
happy to be
ideas I
able to
wanted
walk
to
through
share.
life with you from now on.
So I was thinking
After the
about
speeches, preparations
our
for the toast
trip
began.
next
Waiters
month,
circulated among the
and
tables.
I have a few
Pouring
ideas I wanted
champagne,
to share.
golden bubbles danced in my
So
glass as
I
it
was
was filled.
thinking about
Ladies and
our
gentlemen,
trip
please raise your
next month,
glasses, the Master of
and I have a
Ceremonies
few
announced,
ideas I wanted
as
to
everyone
share.
in the venue stood and raised
So
their
I was
glasses.
thinking about
I also stood
our
with Robert and
trip
directed my
next
glass toward the
month,
distant
and
newlyweds
I
to
have a
David
few
and
ideas
Jessica's
I wanted to
everlasting
share.
happiness.
So I was
Cheers,
thinking
cheers.
about
A great cheer
our
rose from the
trip
entire venue,
next
and the
month,
beautiful sound of
and
clinking
I have
glasses
a few
could be
ideas
heard.
I wanted to share.
I sipped my
So
champagne while
I was
praying
thinking
sincerely for my
about
sister's happiness in
our
that moment.
trip
I
next
felt the
month,
special nature of this
and I
day.
have a few ideas I wanted
Anew.
to share.
After
So
the
I
toast,
was thinking
it was time
about
for dinner. The hotel
our
chef's
trip
carefully prepared
next
course
month,
meal would be served
and
table
I
by
have a
table.
few ideas
I
I
looked at
wanted
the
to
menu
share.
card while seated from
So
appetizers
I was
through soup
thinking
fish.
about
Meat and
our
dessert, a luxurious
trip
spread was
next month,
described.
and
What
I
a
have a few
wonderful
ideas
menu,
I
I
wanted
said
to
to Mom
share.
beside me. Yes,
So I was
Jessica and
thinking
David went
about
through many tastings to
our
choose this.
trip next
The
month,
beef.
and I
Wellington
have a few
main course
ideas
is
I wanted
especially
to
David's
share.
favorite. I wonder
So
if it's
I
a
was
popular
thinking
menu at his
about
restaurant too. It
our
seems so we should
trip
go eat there
next
sometime
month,
while enjoying
and
conversation
I
with
have a
Mom.
few ideas I wanted to
The
share.
waiter brought the appetizer
So
beautifully
I was
plated.
thinking
Smoked
about
salmon canopies and
our
colorful vegetable
trip
tranche were
next
placed before
month,
me,
and
both
I
beautiful to
have a
look
few
at
ideas
and
I wanted to
elegantly
share.
aromatic, truly
So
worthy of
I
the
was
Grand
thinking
Pacific.
about
Hotel's cuisine.
our
The
trip
table
next
conversation was
month,
lively too.
and I
David's
have a few
parents were
ideas I
warm-hearted
wanted to
people,
share.
and their chat with Mom was
So
pleasant.
I was
David's brother
thinking
also had a
about
cheerful personality and
our
entertained us with
trip
interesting
next
stories from
month,
the restaurant
and
industry.
I have a few ideas I
Hadn't
wanted
enjoyed
to
such a
share.
relaxed meal.
So I was
Atmosphere
thinking
in a long
about
time after the appetizer
our
soup was
trip
served. The
next
corn and
month,
lobster bisque was
and I have
creamy
a
with
few
an elegant
ideas I
flavor.
wanted to share.
Robert also said,
So I was
"This is
thinking
delicious,"
about
while eating with
our
satisfaction.
trip next
The
month,
fish course is
and
next,
I have a
I said
few
with
ideas I
anticipation.
wanted to share.
But then it happened.
So I was thinking
Robert,
about
who had been watching the waiters bring the
our
fish course from the
trip
kitchen,
next
suddenly
month,
changed expression.
and
The
I
color
have a
drained
few
from his
ideas I
face and
wanted
his
to
eyes
share.
became sharp.
So
It was like when
I
his
was thinking
professional instincts
about
kicked in upon detecting
our
danger at a fire
trip
scene.
next month,
"What's
and
wrong?"
I have
I
a
asked
few
quietly.
ideas I wanted
But
to
Robert
share.
didn't answer my question,
So I
continuing
was
to watch the
thinking
kitchen
about
direction carefully, his
our
hand
trip next
unconsciously
month,
gripped the edge of
and
the
I have a
table,
few
and I could see
ideas I wanted
tension
to
running
share.
through his entire body.
So
A
I was
waiter approached
thinking
our table.
about
It was a beautiful dish
our
of sautéed
trip
white fish
next
with lemon
month,
butter sauce.
and I
Other
have a
guests
few
were
ideas I
exclaiming over
wanted
the
to
dish's
share.
beauty. But
So
Robert
I
was
was
different.
thinking
He stared
about
at my plate with eyes
our
that seemed to be
trip
confirming
next
something.
month, and I
Then,
have a few
just as I was
ideas I
about to
wanted
pick
to
up my
share.
fork, Robert
So I
suddenly
was
leaned
thinking
close to my ear.
about our
"We're leaving right
trip
now."
next month,
His voice
and
was
I have
low,
a
like a
few ideas I
firefighter
wanted to
announcing an
share.
emergency.
So I
"Right
was
now."
thinking about
"What?
our
What's wrong?"
trip
I
next
stared at him in
month,
confusion.
and I
Other
have a few
tables were
ideas I
all
wanted to
enjoying their
share.
meals happily.
So I was
Why
thinking
did we suddenly
about
need to leave? I
our
couldn't understand at
trip
all.
next month,
I'll explain in the car.
and I have a few ideas
Robert
I
didn't
wanted
answer
to
my
share.
question, but stood up and
So
gently
I was
yet firmly
thinking
pulled my
about
arm. His eyes
our
held a strong
trip
will that left
next
no room
month,
for argument.
and I have a
But the
few
food is
ideas I
later.
wanted to share.
Right now.
So
I
was
looked
thinking
around.
about
Mom was engrossed in
our
conversation with someone at
trip
the next table and
month,
hadn't noticed our
and
distress.
I have a few ideas
The
I wanted
newlyweds
to
were also
share.
chatting happily at their
So
table.
I was
No
thinking
one seemed to think it
about
strange that we were
our
suddenly getting up.
trip next month,
Urged by
and
Robert,
I have a
I
few
stood up.
ideas I
He
wanted
took
to
my
share.
hand and headed for the venue exit.
So I was thinking
As
about
inconspicuously as possible,
our trip
I still
next
couldn't
month,
understand what was
and
happening
I have a
and
few
followed him
ideas
in
I wanted to
confusion as we
share.
left the venue. I turned
So
back
I
to
was
look at
thinking
Jessica.
about
She was smiling
our
at a distant
trip
table,
next
but for a
month,
moment, I thought
and
she
I have a
glanced our
few
way.
ideas I wanted to share.
However, she quickly returned to
So I was
conversation with
thinking
others through the
about
hotel lobby and
our
down the elevator to
trip
the parking
next
garage.
month, and I have a few
Robert didn't
ideas
say
I
a
wanted to
word.
share.
His expression was
So
serious,
I was
like a
thinking
firefighter carrying
about
out an important mission.
our
I
trip
stood beside
next
him,
month,
suppressing my urge to ask
and I have a
questions.
few ideas I wanted
Reaching
to
the
share.
parking garage, Robert
So
took out his
I was
car keys
thinking
while guiding me to
about
the passenger seat.
our
Usually, he was
trip
gentlemanly about
next
opening my
month,
door, but this
and I
time,
have a
he
few
quickly got
ideas
into the
I wanted
driver's
to
seat
share.
himself.
So I was
Starting the
thinking
engine,
about
he let out a deep
our
sigh, then
trip
turning to me
next
with an
month,
expression of
and
disbelief.
I have a few ideas
He
I
said,
wanted to share.
"Did you really not
So
notice?"
I was thinking about
His voice carried
our
relief along with the
trip
weight of
next
harboring some
month,
grave secret.
and I have a
The
few
silence in the
ideas I
car
wanted to
deepened my
share.
confusion.
So I was
Notice what,
thinking
Robert?
about
What on
our
earth happened?
trip
But
next
instead of
month,
answering, he put
and
the
I
car
have
in
a few
drive as the
ideas I
hotel's
wanted to
lights were
share.
seated behind us.
So I was
I
thinking
began to feel an
about
ominous
our
premonition deep in
trip
my heart.
next month,
What should have been
and
a
I have a
joyful
few
wedding
ideas
was
I wanted
somehow
to share.
ending this way.
So I was
Robert's
thinking
profile still
about
seemed to be trying to
our
sort something
trip
out.
next month,
I could only wait
and I have
quietly
a
until
few
he was
ideas
ready
I
to
wanted
speak
to
inside
share.
the car. Only the
So I
engine
was
sound
thinking
and our
about
breathing echoed.
our
After
trip
driving for a
next
few
month,
minutes from the hotel,
and I
the
have a
car
few
stopped on the
ideas I
shoulder
wanted to
in a
share.
quiet residential area.
So I was thinking
Robert turned off the
about
engine and remained
our
silent for a
trip
while, staring at
next
his
month,
hands, gripping the
and
steering
I
wheel. A
have a few
streetlight
ideas I wanted
illuminated
to
the car
share.
interior.
So I was
Casting
thinking
complex
about
shadows across his face,
our
Robert,
trip
"Please
next
tell me
month,
what happened."
and I have a few
My voice
ideas I
trembled
wanted
with
to share.
anxiety. I'd never
So
seen
I
my
was
husband like
thinking
this before.
about
Usually, he
our
would explain
trip
anything
next
calmly and
month,
gently, but
and I
tonight was
have a few
different. He
ideas
took a
I
deep
wanted to
breath and
share.
slowly turned toward me.
So
"Maggie,
I was
you
thinking
must be wondering
about
why I rushed you out
our
before you could eat
trip
tonight."
next month,
Of course, you
and I
suddenly
have a
said,
few ideas I
"We're
wanted
leaving
to
right now
share.
without explaining.
So
Why do you
I was
remember your
thinking
peanut allergy?"
about
The sudden
our
question caught me
trip
off guard.
next month,
Of course I
and
remember,
I have a
but
few
what does that
ideas
have
I
to do
wanted
with
to
tonight?
share.
I told the hotel
So
about my
I
allergy
was
in
thinking
advance,
about
and Jessie said she'd be
our
careful about it too.
trip next month,
Robert looked pained.
and I have a few
That's-
ideas I wanted to share.
That wasn't the case.
So I was
What do you
thinking
mean?
about
What I saw
our trip
was...
next month,
He began
and
speaking
I have
carefully,
a few
choosing
ideas
his
I wanted to
words,
share.
before the kitchen staff
So
brought the food
I
to
was
the tables.
thinking about
Jessica was
our
talking with the
trip
chef.
next
At
month,
first, I thought it was just
and
normal
I have
conversation,
a few ideas I
but
wanted
watching
to share.
closely, she was pointing to a
So
specific
I was
plate.
thinking about
My heart began
our
racing. A specific
trip
plate.
next month.
"Your plate,
and
Maggie,"
I have
Jessica
a few
confirmed your
ideas I
seat
wanted
number
to
and gave
share.
the chef some kind of instruction.
So I was
Then the
thinking
chef took out
about
a small bottle.
trip
It was peanut
next
oil.
month, and
Robert's
I have a
voice
few
was
ideas
shaking
I
as a
wanted to
firefighter.
share.
I've seen many
So
food
I
allergy
was thinking
emergencies. That
about
bottle's shape, the
our
label's color.
trip
There's
next
no
month,
mistake. She was
and I
instructing
have a
him to
few
add peanut
ideas I
oil to your
wanted to
food.
share.
Wise speechless.
So I was
I tried to
thinking
process the
about
information in my head,
our
but I couldn't
trip
accept it as
next
reality.
month,
That's
and
impossible.
I have a few
Jessie would
ideas I
never
wanted
try to
to
harm
share.
me. It must be
So
some
I was
misunderstanding.
thinking
Maybe it
about
was some special
our
seasoning or something.
trip
Maggie
next
Robert
month,
took my
and
Robert.
I have a
And
few ideas
we
I
know how
wanted to
severe your
share.
peanut allergy is.
So I was thinking
Do you remember when you were
about,
rushed to the
our
hospital a few years
trip
ago when you
next
accidentally
month,
ate food cooked with
and
peanut
I have
oil at a
few
restaurant?
ideas I wanted to share.
I remembered.
So
I
was
nearly
thinking
died that time.
about,
Difficulty
our
breathing, hives all
trip
over my body.
next month,
Plummeting blood
and
pressure.
I have a few
I almost
ideas
lost
I wanted to
consciousness
share.
before reaching the hospital.
So I was thinking
The doctor said,
about
if we'd been
our
any later,
trip
it could have been
next month,
life-threatening.
and
But
I have
why?
a few
Why
ideas
would
I
Jessie
wanted to
do such a
share.
thing to me?
So I was thinking
Robert pulled some
about
papers from the dashboard.
our
Actually,
trip
there's been
next
something
month,
bothering me
and
lately.
I have a
Do you
few
remember when
ideas
I
I
talked
wanted
with
to
Jessica
share.
last month about your father's
So
will?
I was thinking about
Yes, I thought it was just
our
notification that
trip
the legal
next
procedures were
month,
complete at that
and I
time.
have a few
Something she said
ideas I
stuck
wanted
with
to
me. She
share.
asked, what would
So
happen to
I
the
was
inheritance
thinking
if something happened to
about,
Maggie?
our
I
trip
gasped.
next
That
month,
means your father's will
and I have a
indeed
few
lists you
ideas
as
I
the
wanted to
primary
share.
beneficiary.
So I was
70%
thinking
of the total
about
assets go to you.
our trip
30%
next
to
month,
Jessica. Robert
and
continued his
I have a few
explanation,
ideas
but
I
there's
wanted
also a
to share.
clause stating if the
So
primary
I was
beneficiary
thinking
dies
about,
first, the full amount
our
goes to the remaining
trip
heir.
next month,
In my mind,
and
all the
I have
puzzle
a few
pieces began
ideas I
fitting
wanted to
together.
share.
So if I died,
So
Jessica
I
would
was
inherit
thinking
everything.
about our
Silence dominated
trip
the car
next
interior.
month,
But why did
and
Dad
I
leave
have a
me
few
more of the
ideas I wanted to
inheritance?
share.
Robert looked at me gently.
So I
Because
was
you
thinking
devotedly cared for
about
your father during his
our
final 10 years,
trip
accompanying
next
him to
month,
medical appointments
and
3
I
times
have
a
a
week,
few ideas I
supporting during his
wanted
daily
to
life.
share.
And during his last 2
So
years,
I was
you even
thinking
adjusted your work
about,
schedule to be by his
our
side. That was true.
next month. And
After Dad's
I have a
illness
few
worsened,
ideas I
I
wanted
devoted
to share.
most of my life to caring for him.
So I was
Robert had
thinking
cooperated without a single
about,
complaint.
our
Jessica never
trip
once came to
next
visit.
month, and
I said
have a
quietly.
few ideas I
She
wanted
always
to
had
share.
reasons too busy.
So
Work
I was
commitments.
thinking
Your father saw
about,
your devotion.
our
That's why he tried to
trip
reward it in his
next
will.
month, and
Tears
I have
began
a few
flowing.
ideas I wanted
What
to
had
share.
started as care born
So
from
I
love
was
for my
thinking
father had
about,
ended up earning my
our
sister's resentment.
trip next month.
That's not all,
and
Robert
I have a
continued.
few
Something
ideas I
David said
wanted
in
to share.
conversation bothered me.
So
I
I
don't
was
think he
thinking
realized what he was
about,
saying, but
our
Jessica had apparently
trip
talked about
next
wanting to
month,
expand into a
and
restaurant
I have
chain.
a few ideas I wanted to
With
share.
my sister's inheritance
So
restaurant
I was
chain,
thinking
David
about,
didn't seem to understand what
our
your inheritance
trip
meant.
next month,
But thinking about it
and I have
now,
a
I
few
shuddered.
ideas I wanted
Jessica
to
had
share.
already planned that far
So
ahead.
I was thinking about,
After my death, she planned to use
our
my inheritance to
trip
expand the
next
business
month,
with her husband.
and I have a few ideas
Tonight's
I
plan
wanted
was
to
perfect,
share.
Robert said bitterly.
So I was
At a
thinking
glamorous
about,
wedding, an unfortunate
our
accident from food
trip
allergies, no
next
one would
month,
suspect anything.
and I have a few
The
ideas
car was
I wanted
again
to share.
enveloped in silence.
So
I
was
stared at my
thinking
hands,
about,
trying to accept
our
reality.
trip
My sister,
next
whom I
month,
loved and trusted,
and
had
I
tried
have
to
a
kill
few
me for
ideas
money.
I wanted to share.
Robert,
So
I finally
was
spoke.
thinking about,
If you hadn't been
our
there, I would have.
trip next
I won't
month,
let anything happen to
and
you.
I have a few ideas I
He
wanted
squeezed
to
my
share.
hand firmly. Protecting
So
you
I
is my
was
mission.
thinking about,
What should we do now?
our trip
Robert took out his
next
cell
month,
phone first.
and I have
I'll
a
make an
few
anonymous
ideas I
report to
wanted
the hotel.
share.
That there's
So I was
suspicion someone
thinking
deliberately
about,
added allergens to a guest's
our
food
trip
who has food
next month,
allergies, and then gather
I have
evidence
a few
record tonight's
ideas I
events in
wanted to
detail
share.
and take legal action
So
if
I was
necessary.
thinking about,
I nodded. It was a
our
painful decision,
trip
but I
next
had to do the
month,
right thing.
and I have a few
Maggie,
ideas I wanted
Robert
to
looked
share.
at me. You have a real
So I was
family,
thinking
people who
about,
love and protect you.
our
Blood relation
trip
alone
next
doesn't
month,
make family, at his
and
words.
I
I
have
was
a
able to
few
smile
ideas
for the
I wanted
first
to
time
share.
tonight.
So I
Indeed,
was
Robert,
thinking
was my
about,
true family and the
our
friends who truly
trip
loved me too.
next month, and
As he
I have
started
a
the
few
car,
ideas I
Robert
wanted
said,
to share.
"Let's spend tonight quietly
So
at
I
home
was
tomorrow. We'll
thinking
sort everything out."
about, our
I nodded
trip
while gazing
next
at the city
month,
lights flowing
and
past the
I have
window.
a few ideas I wanted
My
to
feelings
share.
for Jessica wouldn't disappear
So I
easily,
was thinking
but knowing the
about,
truth, I had to
our
protect my own
trip
life,
next
and I had
month,
to move forward on a
and
new
I have a
path with the
few
people who
ideas I
truly
wanted
loved
to
me.
share.
3
So
weeks had
I was
passed since
thinking
then due to
about,
Robert's report.
our
An anomaly was
trip
discovered in the
next
hotel
month,
kitchen, and the wedding was
and I have a
interrupted
few
midway.
ideas I
It was
wanted to share.
officially announced as suspected
So
food
I was
poisoning,
thinking
but in
about,
reality, peanut oil
our
had been detected in
trip
my food.
next month, and
Jessica's
I
plan
have a
was
few
completely
ideas I wanted
exposed.
to share.
Hotel security cameras clearly
So I
recorded
was
her,
thinking
giving
about,
instructions to the chef.
our trip
Furthermore,
next month,
messages were found on her
and
phone,
I have a few
discussing
ideas I
specific
wanted to
plans with
share.
David about expanding the
So
restaurant
I was
business with
thinking
my sister's
about,
inheritance.
our
When David
trip
learned the
next
truth,
month,
he came to
and
apologize
I
to
have
me
a
with a
few
pale
ideas I
face.
wanted to share.
I didn't know anything.
So
If I
I
had
was
known,
thinking about,
I absolutely would
our
have stopped it.
trip
His
next
words were
month,
sincere, and I
and
decided
have
to
a
believe
few
him.
ideas I wanted to share.
He too was a victim,
So I was
deceived by
thinking
Jessica.
about,
I'm
our
proceeding with
trip
divorce,
next
David
month,
said when he visited our
and
home a
I
few
have
days
a few
later.
ideas I wanted
I
to
can't
share.
begin married life this way.
So
The
I
fact
was
that Jessica
thinking
was using me
about,
to try to harm you.
our trip
There was
next
deep
month,
sadness in his
and
eyes.
I have a few
The
ideas
reality
I
that the
wanted to
woman he
share.
thought he loved was
So
actually
I
a
was
completely
thinking
different
about,
person.
our
Must have been a great
trip
shock for him
next
too.
month,
I haven't
and
spoken
I have a
directly
few
with Jessica
ideas I
herself
wanted
yet.
to share.
She's trying to
So
make
I was
contact through
thinking
lawyers,
about,
but I'm not ready for that
our
yet.
trip next
The pain
month,
of sisterly
and
bonds
I
built
have a
over
few
many
ideas
years,
I wanted to
crumbling in
share.
one night, wasn't something
So
that would
I
heal
was
easily
thinking
when Mom learned
about,
the facts.
our
She could
trip
barely eat
next
for about
month,
2 days.
and I have
Then,
a few
through
ideas
tears,
I
she
wanted to
apologized
share.
to me, Margaret.
So
I
was
doted on
thinking
Jessica and
about,
failed to understand your
our
feelings even
trip
when you were caring
next
for your
month,
father.
and I have a
I
few
relied
ideas I
entirely
wanted
on
to
you
share.
and never asked anything
So
of
I
Jessica
was
that led
thinking
to this result.
about, our
I
trip
embraced Mom while
next
saying,
month,
"It's not your
and
fault.
I have a few ideas I
Mom,
wanted
this
to
was
share.
Jesse's choice. All we can
So
do
I
now
was
is
thinking
cherish each other going
about,
forward."
Currently,
our
Jessica is
trip
charged with
next
attempted
month,
murder. Her
and
lawyer
I
is
have a
claiming
few
temporary
ideas I wanted
insanity.
to share.
But the evidence of
So I
premeditated
was
crime
thinking
is too clear
about,
for that argument to
our
likely succeed.
trip
My
next
daily
month,
life is gradually
and
returning
I
to
have
its
a
former
few
peace.
ideas I wanted to
My
share.
work as a real estate agent
So
is going
I was
smoothly,
thinking
and Robert
about,
continues to support me as
our
always.
trip
But the
next
biggest
month,
change is that my
and I have a
gratitude
few
toward the people
ideas I
around
wanted
me
to
has
share.
deepened. Last week, my
So
longtime friend
I was
Sarah
thinking
visited our home when
about,
she heard about the incident.
our trip
She said,
next month,
"Blood relations Expectations don't
and
matter.
I have a
The
few
people who
ideas I
truly
wanted
love
to
you are
share.
your real family.
So
She was
I
absolutely right,
thinking
Robert.
about,
Of course, but also
our
Sarah and other
trip
friends,
next
workplace
month,
colleagues,
and
neighbors,
I have
the
a few
people who
ideas I
genuinely
wanted
care
to
for and
share.
support me.
So
They are
I
my
was
true
thinking
family this
about
morning while making breakfast
our
with Robert in the
trip
kitchen.
next month,
I said,
and I have a
if you
few
hadn't been
ideas
there
I
that
wanted
night,
to
I
share.
wouldn't be here now.
So
You're the
I
most
was
precious
thinking
person to me.
about
I'm truly glad I
our
could protect you.
trip next
He replied,
month,
putting his arm
and
around
I
my
have a
shoulder.
few ideas I wanted to share.
Outside the window, a new day was
I was
beginning.
thinking
I took a
about
deep breath.
our trip
Though it was a
next
painful
month,
experience,
and
it
I have
taught
a
me
few
what was
ideas I
truly
wanted to
important:
share.
heart connections over blood
So I
relations,
was thinking
pure love
about
over self-interest.
our trip.
My
next
life
month,
continues this time,
and I
building
have a
deeper
few
bonds
ideas
with
I
people
wanted
who
to
truly
share.
love me. And someday when the
So I
time
was
comes,
thinking
perhaps I'll be able
about,
to forgive Jessica.
our
But for now,
trip
I want to
next
cherish
month,
myself and
and
the
I
people
have
who
a few
protected me.
ideas I wanted to share.